Greetings, I'm Tantus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It's time to continue our sort of retrospective of anime, and talking to you about both a review on them, and how to use them in your BESM games, how to sort of incorporate them, little tips and tricks that might make it easier for you to do it if you want to use it. So today we're going to talk about the three anime we talked about before. We're going to start with Bungou Stray Dogs. Now I would recommend 400 to 450 points for your characters. They're going to have some kind of supernatural ability that's going to make them pretty tough. You want to make your characters members of the Armed Detective Agency. You probably want to use the characters from the anime as NPCs. I'd recommend giving them one ability to stem the rest of their techniques and abilities from. Like the one of them is a weretie. That's his supernatural ability. One of them can remove the abilities of other people temporarily. You would develop abilities based around that, or techniques based around that, if they would have more than one ability. Or you could just make it that their main ability, and add a lot of side skills and stuff to make them that they are a significant combat force within the detective agency. And of course you're going to take on normal sort of detective things. You probably are going to tangle with the mafia, you're probably going to help out the police here and there, you're going to go on cases that are hired for more private people, you're going to have it that it's a setup as a detective agency. Probably want to mix and match, that there might be a little bit of mystery here and there for the characters that are built better for that, and at other times there are more action-oriented things, or there might even be, as in the anime, attacks against the agency itself, which then your character would have to help defend it. So next up is Kuromukuro. For this one, I would give you about 300 to 350 points to your players. When you're having them do this, have them split that pretty much in half. Give them about like 150, 125 to their player, and the rest of the points to the mecha they're going to design. Now, you're going to have everybody build their own mechas, and have it under a sort of basic idea, basic concept. You're going to have to use the dual pilot system, so either have two characters together, or have each character have an NPC accompany them. And have it that all their mechas are similar in design, but maybe have certain customizations to make their different roles in battle. Now in the anime they don't show a lot of differentiation between the mechas, but you could be creative and come up with something that maybe one's more of a heavy gunner, one of them's more of a melee combatant, that sort of thing. Now you're going to have them probably mimic a little bit of the anime. I would recommend staying a little bit away from the main plot, because this way they could shine on their own. There's attacks going across the world. They could be stationed at somewhere else in Japan that has some of these mechas that help it out, or somewhere else in the world, even if you wanted to, that has some of these mecha, and has the people trained to do it, to actually fight out the aliens. Now it's going to be like difficult battles. It's basically boss battles for the main mecha, the side mecha they might be able to take on their own. But it could be missions doing that, missions they're taking out the smaller mechs that are person size. You would have them going on missions as the people themselves. I'd recommend putting them either in like a junior or student form. The one pilot in the anime series is a student. You could make your characters students, you could make them college students, high school students. You could just make them, I would put them on the younger side most likely, because it does add a little bit to your storylines when you're building them, that you can add in some of these more normal situations, that you just don't have to have them fighting. You could have, oh, something's going on, oh, there was like one of the alien creatures around your school, the school they're going to, or the college they're going to. You have to deal with that, perhaps because you can't get your mecha in time, or just because it's not accessible at the time the incident is occurring. So the last one I'm going to talk about is Macross Delta. For this one, you're going to want to give like 300 to 400 points. I'd recommend splitting it pretty much down the middle between your human and the mech they're going to, the human and their mech/battle form. And I'll explain that in a second, what I mean by mech/battle form. When you're choosing the characters, split them up. You can either just have all of them be pilots, like part of Delta Squadron, or you can split them up, that you can have some in Delta Squadron, some in Valkyrie, or you could have them all in Valkyrie. That's the choice of you and how you want to build this system. You can have any of that sort of combination. You could have them in just one, some of the characters in both, that sort of thing is completely up to you. Now if you're doing it that there's a pilot, as I said, they're going to be building the mech, have it based upon the basic system and setting of the Macross universe. So it's going to have the ability to be a fighter plane, it's going to have the ability to be a robot, and it's ability to be something in between. So they're going to have to sort of have an idea of what it's going to do for each of those forms, and most likely something like the cannon will go in between them. Now if you choose to have a member of Valkyrie, then what I would do for that is that they have sort of battle forms, things that they have an ability when they're singing and on stage, working with the VAR syndrome. They have things like protective shields, abilities for things like hacking, stuff like that, that they have sort of this battle suit almost that is formed when they're dealing with this. And what you would do is you would have them design this around their main character. So it's something they would activate when they're on stage singing, and it would probably have to be called upon when they're working together like that, when they're doing the song. So there's another way that you can give them this like boost of abilities, but it's not going to be all the time. Like the pilot can't be in the plane all the time. And I would deal with the basic storyline of the anime. You could build it into it as much as you want. You can probably have it take place before the anime. That might be better, that you're not getting as deep into it, that you're having concerts, that you're dealing with some of the VAR syndrome, that you're sort of going along like that. You can have them be members. You can have as many of the members that they have in the anime as NPCs if you want, of either the Delta Squadron or Valkyrie. It's up to you how you want to balance that out. You could have all your members actually take up forms of the characters. That's fine too. This anime allows for it a little bit. You could even, if you really wanted to, you could also take place after the main characters I described in the last video, Hyatt and Freya, come in. You could be members that would arrive after them. Now, they have more of a connection to the storyline than your character would for whatever reason, but again, it's something to choose from. Anyway, that's it for today. I've talked about these 3 anime and using them in your BESM games and some tips and tricks for doing that. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, leave it in the comments below. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video. It does show your support. If you're already not, please join the Empire, subscribe, become a citizen. We're always looking for more members. And if you know anybody that would be interested in this video or learn anything of it, please share it. And until the next time, I bid you farewell.